Alright, hello, welcome back to Gab's Collection. Today I'm going to be talking about this Amazon exclusive Star Wars The Black Series Emperor Palpatine and Throne. And it was great that I was able to get it direct from Amazon, so I paid the original price for it. And I'm pretty sure he went out of stock a few months ago, but they restocked him again, so you can get him again. I think he's been out for less than a year, a few months maybe, but yeah, he's back. He's back now. You can order him on Amazon. You don't have to pay $100 on eBay anymore. Let's look at the box. It's a big box. There's no number on the side, but it says Emperor Palpatine and Throne. There's no number because it's an exclusive. Emperor Palpatine again. It says Empe here. And on the back it says, scheming, powerful, and evil to the core, Darth Sidious restored the Sith and destroyed the Jedi Order. He slowly manipulated the political system of the Galactic Republic until he was named Supreme Chancellor and eventually Emperor, ruling the galaxy through fear and tyranny. So I'm pretty sure this is an old didactic that we've seen before about the Emperor. I remember reading this before on some other publication. I'm not sure which, but evil to the core is a very familiar way to describe Palpatine that I've heard before. It says here includes figure, throne, 5 accessories. So you can see through the box what those accessories are going to be. You've got these lightning hands there and there. You've got 2 extra heads, which is really nice, because Palpatine was a very expressive character. And you've got this cane here, aside from the throne. So, let's take it apart. Let's open it up and see what we've got. Alright, let's open this. I want to be very careful, because this is an exclusive. Again, I don't think I'd sell it, but you know, just to be on the safe side. Oh, okay, so he wasn't sitting in the chair, he was like on this extra plastic bubble in front of the chair. So that's interesting. Get his cane out. And one thing I really like about Black Series is that there's no cable ties. There was that thing there, I don't know what that did, but I pretty much pulled it out really easily. Get this head out. Yeah, no cable ties, but the trade-off is you have to push through this plastic. This is how Palpatine looks because he was sitting in the box. But let's stand him up. Ooh, that's very clicky, very tight knee joint there. I guess that's a good thing. I don't know. Let's get him to stand up straight. Okay. Okay. There he is. First impression. It looks good. It looks good. And I guess this is bothering me a bit because he was sitting in the box. This is sort of just come up because his knees were up there. Or his lap was up there. I guess you can heat that up and sort of get it to sink down. Part of the robe is caught in the knee joint there. So, let's put that up. It's a soft goods robe, which I really like. Again, lots of people don't like soft goods. I like it because it feels more real to me. Some people would argue the opposite, that it feels less real because it's soft goods. But I think it works for the Emperor. You can't have done this any other way. And they have tried. They've tried doing rubbery plastic for his skirt piece for the old Black Series, the first issue of the Emperor, and it looked pretty crap to me. It looked pretty bad. So this looks a lot better to me. It looks more real. This one, they've got the photo reel on, and that just brings it up a notch again, just like with Obi-Wan, with Anakin here. It doesn't look too much like Ian McDiarmid to me, but it looks like Palpatine the character, I guess. And I guess it looks like how he looked in Return of the Jedi. I guess. So he did look a bit different in Return of the Jedi, obviously, than he did in the prequel trilogy. So that's good. It's a good likeness to me. Again, not so much the actor, but the character, the general look of the character is suggested in this likeness. There's this sculpted hair, which is nice. We never got to see the Emperor's hair in Return of the Jedi, but there it is, which is quite similar to Hot Toys' approach to the hair. They also did like this dark gray hair, which is it's strange. It's darker than the hair that he had in Revenge of the Sith, but maybe that's really how it looked. Maybe that's how Ian McDiarmid had his hair under that hood. Hairline's way up here, so you can't really see the hair when you put the hood on, which is good. That's how it should be. So you see that wash there, it really brings out all the wrinkles. And he has this nice expression here. It's just a serious, neutral expression, but it has a lot of personality in it. And when you put the hood up, the way the shadow drops on the face is is perfect, really. That's how it should be. They sort of did some sewing tricks so that the hood would lay down perfectly, because in the old one, apparently, the hood would just go up everywhere. With this one, it lays pretty well on his head. It's not just a floating hood. It's actually on there. Pretty good. You can also pull it down if you want to. You've got these other heads here. Maybe I should talk about it now. Yeah. So his accessories are the heads, the cane, and 2 lightning hands. So this is one head. It's his snarling, angry head. And I do agree with people who say that this is the best head of the bunch. It looks the most like the Emperor. And it's that face that he had when he was hitting Luke Skywalker with lightning. He was shooting lightning at Luke Skywalker. So this is the face that he was making, and that is really good. It looks like one of the eyes on mine is like looking another direction. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Some of these, because of the photoreal, the printing, some of these are misprinted. So be on the lookout for that. I ordered this from Amazon, so I couldn't really tell. It's pretty much the same with the hair and whatnot, and the wash, the paint job. It's just that it's got these exposed teeth now, these yellow teeth. It's a pretty scary face, pretty intimidating, I guess you can say. And it's well made, well sculpted, well painted, aside from that misprint on the other eye. And this one is a more of a smiling head. So yeah, it looks pretty goofy at first, but it has the same amount of detail, paint detail, sculpting detail. It looks pretty goofy by now, but I guess if you tilted it down like this, put a hood on it, it would look very evil and very terrifying. We'll see. So this is like his taunting, laughing, grinning look that he gave Luke Skywalker. These are his lightning hands. Now, mixed feelings about this one. It's sculpted really well. It was a good concept to just have it attached to these hands instead of having separate lightning pieces. But they went too far with the paint, so the paint of the hand goes up to here when it should just end there at the finger. So it just looks like he has very, very long fingers, which is weird. I think somebody was just overzealous with the airbrush maybe and went too far with the paint. This is his cane, and this is exactly how his cane looked in the movie. No need for fancy paint detailing there. It's just a straight, glossy black. And the sculpting is quite nice. You got those knobs there. It's like a gnarled stick. I'm pretty sure in Legends, there was a description for this cane. I'm not sure if it's canon now, so it's probably not relevant anymore. Let's see how the cane fits in the hand. So there's the cane. It does look a bit short at first, but I think you're supposed to have him bent over. Like this. Oh, that's too far bent over. I don't know. He only really used the cane in that scene where he arrives in Return of the Jedi. Then he doesn't use it anymore, I think. Or maybe he uses it when he walks around the throne room at least once. But yeah, it's maybe a bit too short. They could have done it a bit longer, especially since there's no ab crunch here, so he can't actually hunch naturally. It's just like bending at the waist, which is not how somebody hunches over. They could have done more of a hunch on Palpatine, I guess. So it's the same problem with Yoda, where his back is too straight, and he really should have been hunched over a bit more. That would make him look a bit more like Palpatine, I guess. His posture is a bit too straight here, but that's fine, I guess. I'm just saying everything's fine, even though there's actually issues with this. I'm dreading this part because I'm not a fan of swapping hands out. Okay. You should probably be more careful than I'm being very rough with this. Okay, so the hands still have hinges, the swivel hinges, even the lightning hands. So it looks good. It's a good effect. I don't know about how it looks on camera, but in person it looks great. Yeah, it's just that the paint went too far. The flesh tone paint went too far, so it looks like he has long fingers. But yeah, it's a good effect. And of course, these lightning hands are meant to go with a specific head, which is the snarling head. The hood up now. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, that nice snarling face, the way the shadow drops on his face, the details there are brought out, and you see that lightning coming out. The only real issue is, yeah, again, the paint here makes his fingers look too long, but it looks very much like Palpatine. Very Return of the Jedi, very nostalgic, I suppose. If you're like me, who really liked Return of the Jedi because of the Emperor, even though he was only in it for a few minutes. Let's try it with the other head. What was this so much? Okay, so there's his friendly-looking, smiling head. It looks pretty too friendly. But this hand here is a pointing hand, And if you do that, put his hood up like that, it should look menacing. And it does. It looks menacing. It doesn't look goofy at all once you've got everything in place. So you put this hood down, tilt his head down, and then you get his pointing finger up, and then it looks like that part where he's like taunting Luke, telling him about how he's gonna kill all the rebels. So that looks excellent to me. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just the angles that some people do where it looks kind of goofy when they put this smiling head on. But I like this head. I imagine it would work well on the throne as well. Speaking of the throne, let's do that after I talk about articulation. It's got a ball joint here and a hinge. You got hinges here for the hands. It's a bit. It doesn't really work on this hand. I don't want to force it. Yeah, no, I don't want to force that. But yeah, there's a hinge there, and it swivels as well. You've got double jointed elbows, so the elbows actually go all the way up here, which is really good. It's a lot better than the other figures. The other figures only do 90, but because he doesn't have, like, this sleeve is just inside his robe, I guess they weren't so worried with making the sleeve look accurate, so they went straight for it. So this goes all the way up here, so you could touch his face. You can do this cheeky look here. Like I said, he doesn't have an ab crunch. That would have helped. If they just did this full soft goods, which I'm sure lots of people would hate, but if they did this full soft goods, they could have done an ab crunch, and that would have made him hunch over so much more naturally. But yeah, as it is, he's just got this thing here. Yeah, he does move this way. He just moves like this. He just doesn't have an ab thing. His legs, because there's soft goods here, they don't go that far, but with rubber, it would have gone even less far. You can sort of stretch it. I bet it would go pretty far if you pulled this up. Yeah, it goes that far if you pull it up. But why would you do that? It's the Emperor. Double jointed knees. Yep. Go all the way up there, which is lovely if you want a dancing, prancing Palpatine like this. Ankle is on a rocker, and a hinge. All the way around, full range of movement there. It's pretty good, considering that he's not a dynamic character in terms of movement in Return of the Jedi. It's pretty decent articulation. Yeah, pretty good. I'm happy with that articulation. Let's talk about the details then. So I already said that I like the cloak. I like the soft goods. He's got this clasp here, his cloak clasp. Let's try to focus that. Yep, that clasp, that's accurate to how it looked in the film, mostly. The detail's not as sharp because of the scale, but it looks pretty much like the one that I have on my Return of the Jedi 12-inch Palpatine. He's got this sculpted belt. I wish they could have done something else with this, but it makes the anti-soft goods people happy, so yeah, you won this round. Yeah, it just sticks out strange, so when you have him on the side, it sticks out. That's weird. But yeah, there's nice sculpting here in the upper part of the inner robe. I just wish it wasn't so glossy, but you can barely see it anyway. When you pull it down, it just lays down like that. Sleeves are pointy. They're pointy sleeves, as they are in the film. But because this fabric is a bit stiff, they do sort of point like that. Doesn't fall naturally on the sleeves, which is a shame. And it's also a shame that this fabric isn't the waffle material, very soft waffle fabric that they actually used in the movie. And they actually used that in the 12-inch Return of the Jedi Emperor. I'm going to do a comparison later near the end. But right now, let's set him on the throne, which is really the big thing about this figure, is that it came with his throne, which the other one didn't. The previous release didn't. And everyone wants an Emperor Palpatine on a throne. We've had very few versions of these. And this might have been the first one from like a toy company, like that's not Hot Toys or Sideshow. Correct me if I'm wrong. Might be the first one for like a regular action figure. So get him into position first, and then you put him under there. Well, I only knew how to do that. I only knew to do that because of other reviews saying that you can't just like push him like that because you have to put his head under the thing. So put his head down a bit, and there he is, grinning and smiling on his throne. Looks very happy there, very content. He adjusted a bit so his feet reach the floor. And I'm just remembering now about how Ian McDiarmid said that he had to shuffle his feet so that his throne would spin properly. I don't think there's any... Oh, okay. There's a swivel here. They didn't need to do that because Because they didn't. Because it looks the same all the way around. They actually didn't have to do this, and it's not on a special base or anything. But they did that. They did that. And why wouldn't they, I guess? So the throne, with the throne itself, there's lots of detail here. Look at that paint there. There's a bit of slop up here. I can fix that myself. I wish I didn't have to, but I can fix that. But for the most part, it's detailed quite well. The buttons are painted very crisply. You can see that the yellow there, the red, there's a little blue there. That's painted really well. This one, how do I show that? This one as well. And I think this is where you would normally put Luke's saber. That's where people would put it in the 1/6 scale figure anyway. His saber hilt. And then you've got this panel here on the side. That's really crisp paint there. I like that. Very nice. I guess the only not crisp part is this part up here where there's slop. The sculpting looks pretty accurate. It's cast in a glossy-ish plastic, which means that you get fingerprints on it and it shows, so you probably have to wipe it down if you're going to do a display or a photo shoot. This plastic is nice. It's a nice color. It looks pretty accurate to the movie. It looks soft. It looks soft. Like, the appearance of it suggests a cushioned fabric. But it's not. It's plastic. But yeah, you can see all these, it's like subtle bumps there, so it looks like it's a cushioned fabric. And there's detailing down here, which is hard to show, but there it is. And I didn't know that there was detailing down there. And let's sit him back in there. Sorry, I just forgot to talk about the throne before I put him in. But yeah, you put his sleeves on the side. That's how he sat. And again, there he is, looking quite content. I'm quite happy about the destruction of the rebellion. Like I said earlier, I've been waiting for this throne my whole life as a lifelong Emperor Palpatine fan, and I just never got one until now. Of course, it wasn't in 1/6 scale, but if it was in 1/6 scale, it would be huge. It would be this big, which is how big they are, the Hot Toys and Sideshow ones. So, I like the scale. I like how it's big, the throne is big, but because it's in this scale, it doesn't take up all the space. It won't take up all the space on my shelf, and I really like that. It's good displayability. It has good displayability factor. It can be your centerpiece for your shelf if you do like this setup with the Emperor. You got Luke here, Vader here, guards flanking them on the sides. Maybe one day they'll do an Imperial dignitary, just like they did in the Kenner line. And then people will be angry, some people will be angry, but I will be very happy. The thing about this, the thing about characters like the Emperor is that for some reason, some people don't like old man figures. They don't like old man action figures. Like Tarkin, the reason they didn't do Tarkin in the vintage line is because it wouldn't sell if they made an old man action figure. Then when they did Imperial Dignitary, people were mad it was an old man. Ghost Anakin, they were mad it was an old man. Yeah, for me, when I was a kid, I almost exclusively collected old man characters, or like people who looked like old men. Like Ki-Adi-Mundi looks like an old man to me because of his white beard, I guess. Yoda, Palpatine, Count Dooku, those guys. Old Ben Kenobi. So, I like old men characters. I like Palpatine. He's my favorite villain in the Star Wars franchise, as he should be, because he's the main villain of the whole franchise now that Rise of Skywalker came out, and he was the villain in that movie, and pretty much said that he was responsible for everything that happened in the rest of the sequel trilogy anyway. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I wish I had an Imperial Guard, a Royal Guard, and Vader, but as it is, Vader's getting pretty hard to find in Australia. There's lots of knockoffs coming up, so I'm pretty scared to order one here because I might get a knockoff. So, might have to wait a bit until they do a re-release, or I have to buy the 40th anniversary. But yeah, this is excellent. I'm very happy as a Palpatine fan to have this. Now I'm just waiting until they do a Revenge of the Sith Palpatine, Chancellor, Senator Palpatine, what have you. Or a new Emperor Palpatine when he had his red robe in Revenge of the Sith, or even Rise of Skywalker Palpatine when he was like blind. He had like white milky eyes, and then they could do an extra head with his like Sith eyes. I thought I'd just stress this one more time, but when you use the smiling face, have him look down, point his chin down, and then he looks sinister. Because it's the same thing as with my 12-inch. He does look goofy if you have his face like looking straight, but when you point it down, it looks like his eyes are looking up. And then it's like a sinister expression. But yeah, so always tilt the chin down if you're trying to do a menacing smile. Because if it's just, yeah, this looks pretty menacing, this looks friendly and nice, but this looks menacing. So keep that in mind if you're gonna pose him with the smiling face, because some people will think, oh, it's a useless face. It looks too friendly. The other thing is be mindful of this clasp here. It does come out, but it feels like if I keep taking it out and putting it back in, it's gonna make this hole here bigger and bigger, and then it's not gonna be good. That's not gonna be good. So I'm gonna try as little as possible to remove this clasp. But again, looking forward to other versions of Palpatine that they'll come up with. They've hit it out of the park with this photo reel. And if they do a new sculpt, so this is a reuse of the old sculpt. These other two are new. But if they do like a prequel Palpatine with photo reel, Ian McDermott's face, that would look great. I would want that in my collection. Yeah, even if it's just Chancellor Palpatine or Senator Palpatine with no accessories. Because what would he even come with? Maybe statues in his office, maybe. But yeah, I'd buy that. Even if he's not an action-oriented character. Well, he is in Revenge of the Sith, but not in like Attack of the Clones. It's a good set. I like the paint detail. I like the wash on the hands. The splotches there, which I don't think I talked about, but the hands have great detail there. I'm sure they just did it like super randomly. But yeah, it looks good to me. I would recommend the set. I don't have that many viewers, but to those of you who are watching, I do recommend the set. Still available on Amazon. Well, when I uploaded this, it was still available on Amazon, and I bought it on Amazon. So don't go on eBay and buy it with scalper prices, because that's a scam. Because you can buy it for retail price on Amazon. Delivery will take you a while if you're not in the US. But it didn't take that long. It took like a week, which is pretty fast, considering it was from the US. I'm really impressed with what Hasbro's doing, and I already talked about this in earlier videos, but I got out of Star Wars collecting many years ago because I was disappointed with the new products they were coming out with in stores, the ones that I could see in my stores, which were like shampoo bottle figures. They weren't Black Series. I wasn't seeing Black Series in my store, so I didn't know they existed. So I stopped collecting Star Wars for a long time. Then only to find out that they were doing this Black Series since like 2013, was it? 2015? A long time. And the early ones weren't great. Sort of kicked into high gear with the photo reel, and they started looking really good suddenly. And it was a really good surprise. It was a pleasant surprise, because when I started doing vintage Star Wars, which was a few months ago, sort of caught the collecting bug again for Star Wars. And then I found the Black Series a few weeks ago. There's only a few of them in stores available in Australia currently. A lot of them are going out of stock quickly, like the Mandalorian stuff is going out of stock quickly. Luckily, we have Amazon and some shops that, still charge a bit more than if you bought them in the US, but unfortunately for us who aren't in the US, we have no other choice. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what else the Black Series is going to come up with. I ordered my Count Dooku Kit Fisto Plo Koon. It should be here Count Dooku's going to be here in a few weeks, but the other ones will come out in a few months. So I'm pretty impressed with what Hasbro's doing, and I hope they keep doing it. I hope they don't stop doing Black Series, because there's still so many characters to cover. They haven't even covered all the major players yet. We've yet to see some of the other Jedi from the prequel era. We've yet to see all the sequel trilogy and all the original trilogy characters. So yeah, I guess that's it for this video. There's nothing more I can say. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye.